relates to health equity. There was a expansion of more inclusive data collection techniques, and then there was the establishment of institutions, centers, commissions, and state and local minority health offices. So there was a lot of work and activity and organizational infrastructure that was put in place. A lot of this was happening in the early 90s when I was in medical school. So you would think that we would make a lot of progress. However, in 2002, the Institute of Medicine published a report called Unequal Treatment. And what it really outlined is it examined our health systems and patient and provider factors that might be contributing to the disparities that we were still seeing. And it found that ethnic minorities had less access to preventive care, less access to treatment, and less access to surgeries. This resulted in delayed diagnosis and advanced disease at presentation. And all of this contributed to persistence in health and ethnic disparities in healthcare. So then the question begs, really, how did we get here? And you've heard a lot of talk about, well, the reason that minority populations are being adversely affected is that they have more comorbidities. But why is that? So there's really a historical, medical, and scientific context that I think is important to understand. And so if we really look at the historical discrimination and racism that occurred during slavery and in the post-Civil War era, we find some of those answers. So when we look at the medical and scientific establishment, at the turn of the century in the early 1900s, there was the development of a eugenics theory that said that certain races and ethnicities were biologically inferior to other. There was also the closure of medical schools that were training Black physicians, and then vulnerable populations were experimented on without their consent. So specifically, Dr. Mario Sims, who ultimately became the president of the American Medical Association, perfected his gynecological surgery techniques by experimenting and repeating